everyone. I am Regine A. Balisbis, a student of Caraga State University, taking up a course of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in Filipino. Today, together with my groupmates, Miss Asanyas, Miss Bertulfo, Miss Benoya, and Mr. William, we will be discussing the critical attributes of the 21st century education. But before we proceed to the critical attribute of the 21st century education, let us first know what is 21st century education. A 21st century education is one that responds to the economical, technological, and societal shifts that are happening at an ever increasing pace. It's an education that sets children up to succeed in a world where more than half of the jobs they have over their careers don't even exist yet. In short, it's an education that provides students with the skills and competences they need to thrive in the 21st century. It's about giving students the skills they need to succeed in this new world, considering the new normal that we are all living today, and helping them grow the certainty to practice the skills they learned. With so much information readily available, 21st century skills focus more on making sense of the information, sharing, and using it in a creative ways. The world of teachers and students is expected to continue to change dramatically throughout the 21st century and beyond. There is a paradigm shift in the way teaching and learning is delivered. As a 21st century teacher, we need to develop essential knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values to be able to cope with these changes and to help the students to address them as well. Conceivably, we may have mentioned that the curriculum of the 21st century is different from that of earlier decades. Teaching strategies may have also come up in a discussion about changes in 21st century education. These are but some of the changes and characteristics of 21st century education that teachers and students face today in the future. Educators have identified factors or attributes critical to 21st century education. As modern day teachers, we need to be aware. We must strive to understand the essential attributes of 21st century education so that we may be able to integrate them in the teaching and learning process. In today's educational landscape, teachers need to think globally. Whether you teach in private or government schools, as teachers, we need to develop a new generation of students who think and act globally. Therefore, it is imperative to know more about the critical attributes of 21st century education. So the first critical attribute of the 21st century education is integrated and interdisciplinary. This critical attribute implies that teachers need to review the school curriculum and identify strategies or ways on how different subjects can be effectively linked to enhancing the learning experiences of students. Nowadays, knowledge is no longer distinctly divided into clear-out learning chunks or separated subjects. Education in the 21st century is characterized by linkages among various subject areas in an integrated manner. The new approach promotes the utilization of learning from multiple disciplines. For example, music and algebra can be linked together in the discussion of fractions. The time signature of music uses fractions. As such, you as a good teacher can certainly apply this to both your music or math classes. Second critical attribute is technologies and multimedia. This critical attribute implies that your school will need to acquire and use computers and various multimedia equipment to enhance learning to the best extent possible. Training is also needed for teacher users as part of the bigger technology plan. Education in the 21st century makes full use of available information and communication technology or ICT and multimedia to improve teaching and learning activities. The ability to find, evaluate, utilize, and create information using technologies and multimedia or digital technology in general is referred to as digital literacy. As a teacher, some of your day-to-day activities, writing reports, and creating multimedia presentations and communicating or exchanging information with your colleagues and students online require different levels of digital literacy. As such, you need to develop your digital literacy skills to pass this on to your learners.
Hello everyone, I am Merlinda Sasenyas. I am tasked to present to you about global classroom and creating, adapting to personal and social and lifelong learning. So okay, what do you mean by global classroom? Yes, Masano? Thank you. This critical attribute implies that teacher need to include current global issues or concerns such as peace and respect for cultural diversity, climate change, and global warming in classroom discussions. It also a unique charity and education movement that unites the world. It provides students with exposure to international and multicultural experience that enhances their academic performance. It also helps in creating awareness regarding a lot of subjects and nourishes the overall personality of students. We know that globalizing the classroom is beneficial because it connects students with experts, provides opportunity for cooperative learning, and raises multicultural awareness. And now, let's creating, adapting to personal and social and lifelong learning. Yes, Mr. Sinangote? Thank you. Okay, this critical attributes meaning that teachers should facilitate students' acquisition of knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values that go beyond academic. So therefore, it should not end with requirement compliance and passing the exams, but also for transferring and applying knowledge to a new context or real-life situation. As such, the curriculum should be planned in such a way students will continue to learn even outside school for life. Lifelong learning can enhance our understanding of the world around us, provide us with more and better opportunities, and improve our quality of life. So the next discussion will be discussed by Miss Bertolfo. Thank you.
So, hi everyone, good morning. My name is Christine Rose Bertolfo, your instructor for today's lesson. So for today's video lecture, we're going to talk about the student-centered learning in 21st century. So we've noticed that education or educating in this century is focused on the students as a learners. So these methods used to address the individual learning needs of each student, especially those students with disabilities or with special needs. So student-centered learning incorporated student skills and interest into the learning process, making them experience more personalized and involving all students to his or her own future. So, these critical attributes implies that all teachers should act as facilitator of learnings, not as sages on the stage, but as guide on the side. That means all teachers should provide an occasional advices, assistance, and corrections to all the students while allowing them to explore a subject area independently or interacting among themselves. Okay, so how student-centered learning works? How? So, I have listed here a 4 keys on how student-centered learning works effectively. So, the first key is learning is personalized. When we say personalized, it happens when the teachers knows that their students has a strong relationship with them and then meet students where they are in their learning process. So key number 2, learning is competency based. Learning is about the information and skills of a student that has mastered not just in a curriculum. So in a competency-based system, students proceed at their own pace in every subject, enabling teachers to respond to their needs and challenges. So the third one is learning happens anytime, anywhere. When we apply the student-centered learning method in our way of teaching, students will often make an important discoveries about themselves and the world around them, especially when they were beyond the traditional school or the traditional way of learning. So, key number 4 and the last key. Students take ownership. So as a teacher, don't make a decision about students. Students takes direct role to their own success. What we're just going to do is we're just going to actively engage to their process so we can ensure that the impact is lasting and meaningful. So that is the 4 keys on how student-centered learning works effectively as a way of teaching. So, to make student-centered learning in 21st century more effective, those 4 keys that I've discussed earlier, that I've discussed a while ago, must work together so that the process of learning in every student is much better than before. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Shara Joy Binoya. Now, I will be discussing about one of the critical attributes of the 21st century. So we have project-based and research-driven. So what is project-based and research-driven? Among the critical attributes of the 21st century, education is the emphasis of data, information, and evidence based on decision making. It relies on student-driven activities to encourage active learning. This implies that the teachers of the 21st century need to be knowledgeable about research to guide their student learning self-directed activities such as learning projects within and outside their classroom. It's about learning of new skills and making projects that students can able to learn. Students are integrating, applying, and constructing knowledge as they work together to create solution in a complex problem. Say for example, investigatory project showcased in many science fairs across South Asia and in the world are example of research-based activities of the student. So when we say investigatory, we will gather the data, information, and evidence. These 3 things are important when we investigate. It is an instructional approach designed to give the students opportunity to develop their skills and knowledge through engaging projects that set around challenge problems that they may face in real life.
Relevant, rigorous, and real world. This critical attribute implies that topics are taught using current and relevant information and linked to real life situation and context. Education in the 21st century is meaningful because it is rooted in real life day-to-day activities of learners. It can be applied to the realities of the present and includes what students need to develop to become productive members of the 21st century. As a 21st century teacher, you need to be updated on the current trends, developments, and issues in your school, community, and in the world, so that your teaching will be relevant to the lives of your students. Newspapers, TV, and radio news, and the internet are the good sources of the relevant and up-to-date information that you can access.